Y'all, I have to share this with you. Joy. Joy is seeing God in it in spite of what is happening. In spite of what's happening, you see that He is making everything work together for your good. And let me just tell you, in my life has been lifing like crazy. And I'm seeing God in it like crazy because now it's not just coincidence, it's Godsidence. It's His alignment. And it's helped me to not go crazy. Talk about like when God is increasing your capacity, He's taking you somewhere, He's going to place you on a huge mountain. He's placing you all on a huge mountain of influence. And the only way to get to where God wants to take you is to see Him in it. It's to see Him in the valley with you. Because every valley has an expiration date. When you think about the valley, it's in the middle. It's before that mountain, right? And many of us, though, have been programmed in a way that we hide what's inside. We do more out of not knowing our worth or our value. We remain silent, thinking that we are trying to maintain the peace, even though on the inside we feel like we're in pieces, and then it turns into performance. And now we're going with the motions. Even at church, it's possible to go with the motions, right? Not truly be in tune with worship because I am worried about the bills. I'm worried about my relationships. I'm worried about tomorrow. Yet God is telling me not to be anxious. So it means that I have trust issues. I can have trust issues with God, right? And so when God is bringing us into alignment and we're praying, and it's a genuine prayer that He has answered, He begins to disrupt disorder. Because we can even normalize stress, we can normalize the struggle, yet the wilderness was only supposed to last 11 days for the Israelites. It wasn't supposed to last 40 years. It wasn't supposed to turn into what we now call a midlife crisis. We're in our 40s, we're in the middle of life, and we're wondering, what have we been doing this whole time? What is my purpose? You know, I've been so miserable and silent, and now I'm starting to ask questions like, where have I been? You know what I'm saying? And so God is breaking that cycle of bondage, where you've been in bondage to external validation, or you've been in bondage to fear. Fear has been regulating you instead of you regulating it. So He said, no, the time is over for it to be dictating your divine calling where you've not stepped out into it yet. And so that came for me, you know, when I turned 30. Now I'm almost 36. He said, we're doing an Ecclesiastes 3:11. That number, 3:11. Ecclesiastes 3:11. Some of you see that, right? I'm not talking about an angel number. No. I'm talking about what is biblical. I'm talking about what is prophetic, where God makes everything beautiful in His time, right? Because you're wondering, Lord, when is this going to end? When is this going to stop? And He's perfecting you. He's removing lack from you, a lack mindset, a scarcity mindset, where you end up doing more because it comes from the place of not knowing your value. So you end up depleted and drained and not stepping into what is divine. And how do we know? There's that irritation, that lack of fulfillment. It's feeling unseen, unheard, misunderstood. There's reoccurring arguments. There may be some distracting yourself. There may be some gossiping, whatever that it is, you know, it's happening. And so we see these symptoms, but there's a root issue. And so God heals us from the root. He does an inside job, and He's placing you in positions because He wants to take you somewhere, right? So He'll put you in positions to make your voice be heard. He'll put you in a position to where, like, the very thing that you thought was not going to be restored, such as your identity, your true identity, right? Or your voice, relationships, divine opportunities. He will put you in a situation where you have to use your voice. 4:14. Esther 4:14. Right? Where she is being told, how do you not know that you've been put here for such a time as this? Like the very thing that you don't want to open or use because you feel like you might die. I mean, many times we live in ambiguity, right? How do I know? Ambiguity is like what is unclear. I don't know what's going to happen. There are assumptions that I will end up making or you may end up making because you want understanding. You know, it's like ambiguity is there's a concern or you see that something is off between you or somebody else, but you don't want to address it because of what may happen if you address it. If I address a concern, if I set a boundary, if I ask for what I need, I may not get the response that I want. So therefore, I'd rather come up with my own assumptions, mind read, because that is what has kept me safe before. But now it no longer keeps you safe. Like that comfort zone is no longer comfortable. That ambiguity is like just going with the flow because you don't want to rock the boat, but now the boat is being rocked. And let me tell you that it's God that's rocking it because he is wanting to restore your identity. That is like one of the greatest gifts that Jesus has given us. Number one, it's salvation so that we all go to heaven, but it's also restoring our divine DNA. Jesus in our DNA, that we may be reconciled with the Father, that we're a co-heir with Christ, that instead of co-signing with other individuals who may understand how we feel, but they're just as miserable as we feel and we're not going anywhere. Two blind people by the sea. Remember that story? Two blind people. They can't see. They ain't going nowhere. It's same cycles, same conversations, same gossip, same complaining, or same you showing up for everybody but nobody shows up for me. You know, it's the same old. And then, or I don't see myself, you know, I don't take care of myself, I neglect myself, I don't eat healthy, I'm not exercising, I'm just going with emotions. And God is like, I'm mindful of you though. Then now I'm gonna make your comfort zone uncomfortable because I care about you. I care about you. And so what does he do? He'll put you in a situation to where you have to use your voice now. Like you have to. Like the very things that maybe you've been putting off, procrastinating on because you felt overwhelmed by it. You don't know what the response is going to be. Or usually maybe there are people who typically follow through, or that you partner with, right? Maybe it's business partners, maybe it's family members, or whatever the case is. Say usually they're the ones that's like initiating, or they follow through with what they say that they're going to do, but suddenly they didn't this week or last week. Suddenly it's ambiguous, it's uncertain, and it's like, man, I was waiting on this. I was waiting on this person to get back to me. And so sometimes, right, it's like you're understanding though, right? You're very understanding and they're understanding. And so you know how busy they are. And so now you're waiting for responses. You're waiting for answers. You're waiting. But now the wait has gone beyond the point that it really needs to go beyond. And now it's like God is saying speak. God is saying ask. God is saying say something. He's saying that living in ambiguity is creating delay, and I'm wanting to create development within you. So I've put you in an ambiguous circumstance because I want to cultivate you through it, okay? I want to cultivate you through it. I'm using that to develop you, right? I'm using that to reprogram you. So now where maybe you felt comfortable in that ambiguity, even though there was some hidden resentment in it, like, man, this is taking really long, but I understand. I know how busy they are. Or perhaps there were some bills or some pain that you were ignoring, but you're so used to carrying such a high tolerance that he's like, nah, we're going to go get that tooth looked at. Go get the tooth looked at. Go get that pain in your knee looked at. Go and get that pain in your foot looked at. No. Go. That engine light has been on way too long. Go and get that serviced, because now there's something else that's popping up, and now there is a tug that you feel. That tug is God wanting to reveal and correct and do something new, so that way you're not continue to be programmed by fear and ambiguity. Now your voice is needed for there to be clear communication, which brings you out of obscurity. It brings the other person out of obscurity, where we're wanting them to know what we need, or we're so used to thinking they should know. They should know, though. Or usually it's not like this, but he's making it like this so that because he's remaking you. He's doing a new thing in you. Right? He's doing a new thing in you, and your voice is needed. Now is the time to not be silent. It's also not the time to go crazy, cuss people out, or anything like that. That's the other part of it, is maybe you've spoken in tongues. I remember I shared just a video. I was like, hey, I was in a situation where some tongues came out and they weren't holy. And this was like 7-8 years ago, where I was doing so much sacrificing. And when I felt betrayed, I felt like there was a knife that stabbed me in the back. Oh man, there were tongues that came out. There were unholy tongues. But imagine healthy tongues. Imagine healthy language, healthy communication. I had to invest in that. There was a lot of bondage and fear and silence that your girl had to invest a lot. I had to invest thousands when I was 30. I invested between 20 to 30,000 that year because I had a lot of bondage that was in me for years that had programmed me, and I needed a reprogramming. So God said, well, Miriam, yeah, I made you a new creature, right? But your new creation needs participation. So he will also guide you into programs to connect so that there's activation. There is exposure therapy. There is you being challenged to get out of that limiting belief or all those limitations, yet we serve a limitless God who wants to take you to a mountain of influence. So he's saying, I am bringing you into a place of joy today. I am restoring what you thought was lost. I'm restoring your identity. Really, I've already done it through Jesus, but now you are reclaiming it. You're reclaiming your voice, and you will see that. And you will attest to this word, because you will be like, oh, that's why it's so ambiguous. That's why suddenly like this person is ghost, or that's why, this has been going on too long. It's because my voice is going to activate the answers. It's going to activate change. Don't be overwhelmed by it, because God is with you in it. So he'll begin to show you, now use your voice in this today. Call this person today. Have this hard conversation this day. He'll because he's already gone before you. So he's already made the way straight. He's taking you somewhere. He's taking you into what is new, into a new land. And so we need to align by confronting what he's telling us to confront instead of compartmentalizing it. The good work that he started, he will surely finish it. Y'all share this with somebody. Take care. Bye.